Welcome to LFC Transfer Hub. Rodrygo bid, Ease dilemma, Sesko U-turn, alternative Arsenal transfer window. Arsenal transfer news with a look at what could have been this summer for the Gunners if things had gone in a different direction. The runway to Arsenal's summer transfer window was longer than usual. Due to the second half of the 2024-25 season Premier League struggle, the focus turned to new signings sooner than in the previous 2 years. Although Mikel Arteta kept supporters dreaming until May with a run to the Champions League semi-finals, the plans were being put in place for what promised to be a busy and decisive few months in the market. It has turned out to be exactly that. As soon as Arsenal, under the interim sporting directorship of Jason Ado, did not make any additions in January, there was going to be increased pressure to get the summer right. Edu Gasper's exit complicated matters, and it was under this backdrop that Andrea Berta picked up the pieces. In a sense, with the title out of the equation and only European games to compete for, Arsenal's summer started in late March, when it became clear that Berta had gained the trust of Arteta and the hierarchy. This is partially why the early weeks of the window actually opening in June were so full of frustration. Arsenal had not been able to complete transfers up to this point, but did not look to have taken advantage of the extra attention they could place on the summer. As Berta came to speed with things, the takeover had to be smooth. In the end, he has addressed all of the key points. A backup goalkeeper is in, there is reinforcement in defense. Martin Zubimendi joined, Victor Gyökeres is the new striker, and Noni Madueke is a two-way winger. Ebereki Eze is the final piece of the jigsaw puzzle with a month left to go. But it did not always have to go like this. Arsenal have spent much of the past 18 months looking at Joan Garcia as competition for David Raya. They have put serious stock in pursuing Rodrygo from Real Madrid, and Benjamin Sesko was a genuine option up front. Gyökeres fits exactly what is needed at Arsenal, namely, he is a proven and experienced striker. He is ready-made to come straight into the team with physical excellence and a defined playing style. The price is also less than RB Leipzig were demanding for Sesko. Yet, as Arsenal weighed up their shortlist heading into the window, it was not just Gyökeres or bust. There was a lot of contrasting reports coming out of Germany and Portugal as Arsenal debated which way to go. They could have gone to Ollie Watkins again but saw him as being too expensive for a near 30-year-old. It is not too much of a leap to imagine Arsenal ending up with Sesko or Watkins instead of Gyökeres, though neither does it take too much to see them landing Garcia and not Kepa Arrizabalaga. It is impossible to know what the better outcome is, and hindsight will surely dictate how the window is viewed. There was not as much of a conversation in midfield. From the end of the January window, it became clear that Zubimendi was their primary target, and Berta managed to hold off interest from Real Madrid to get a deal over the line. Despite losing 2 players in the pivot from last season, Arsenal got in ahead of Tottenham for Christian Norgard and landed Zubimendi. Miles Lewis-Skelly can play there as well, and the hope will be for Mikel Merino not to have to play as a makeshift forward, therefore allowing him more minutes in his natural position. Kai Havertz was initially signed with the intention of playing as a number 8 as well. On the wing there has been less consensus. Madueke emerged as an option but was not a fan favorite. As a right-side dominant player, there is still a hankering for someone on the left. That is Eze, but the conversation has been full of other names. Morgan Rogers, Rodrygo, Bradley Barcola, and Rafael Leo have all been mooted as targets. Eze, who has never gone away, is the player they have settled on. It is not a massive stretch to think that Arsenal might have made a real play to bring in Rodrygo in a summer of flux at Madrid, or Rogers, who matches the in-betweener profile of Eze. As it happens, Arsenal have identified a set of core players that will improve both the starting 11 and wider squad. Had they gone for alternative players, then the same would also have been true, but Arteta is sure to be happy with those who are on board. Important Rodrygo transfer update as Arsenal sees initiative to strike stunning deal. Latest Arsenal transfer news and rumors as Football.London analyses the latest on Real Madrid winger Rodrygo. Despite repeated links with Arsenal, there is still no further clarity on where Rodrygo will finish the summer transfer window. Uncertainty sparked when the Gunners' target, 24, began to slip further out of the fold under former boss Carlo Ancelotti. In the tail end of the 2024-25 campaign, a halftime substitution in the Copa del Rey final was swiftly followed by 90 minutes on the bench in El Clásico that decided the La Liga title in Barcelona's favor. Rodrygo then sat out the final 5 matches of last season, at which rumors of a switch to either Arsenal or other top European clubs began to brew. Ancelotti was replaced by Xabi Alonso to spark some hope of a career at Madrid being revived. However, only one start at the summer's FIFA Club World Cup has only served to intensify the transfer debate. Now, with one final month to finalize transfers, there is no suggestion yet as to whether Rodrygo is going to move or where that would be to. So, Football.London analyses the latest updates in this saga and especially the Gunners' place in all of it. No decision announced. If Rodrygo wanted to leave Real, he has been given plenty of time to voice the intention to his employers. According to Spanish publication Marca, there has not been a peep. They say between July 9th, the day Alonso's side were eliminated from the Club World Cup, and the start of August, no players or their connected representatives have come forward to President Florentino Perez to say they wish to leave. It is put down to the financial incentive the club can offer compared to those they maybe have offers to leave for. There is still plenty of time for Rodrygo to voice his concerns and Arsenal to make their move. Even if the player is rewarded handsomely for his efforts, there will be more things to consider for the upcoming season, like playing time and how this will impact chances of being included in next summer's FIFA World Cup. Rodrygo is yet to return to pre-season training and can make an informed decision about his future only after he does so. Open to offers. Even if Rodrygo has not come forward yet, ESPN Brazil believe his club will be open to offers from any interested clubs. Internal discussions last season were pointing towards this outcome, and apparently since Alonso has signed as manager, the consensus has only grown. The manager's system is going to be to play with only 2 forwards, meaning Los Blancos have too many on their books. The idea is to get rid of some who will not have easy access to the starting lineup and pad the squad out with the midfielders and defenders that will be required. Liverpool, Bayern Munich and Paris Saint-Germain are also linked to the player. Football.London says, Arsenal have got the initiative if this is the case, and it would be up to them to test the waters with a proposal made to Real. This would force the hand of both the Spanish club and their player to take action and make decisions before the coming season begins. Liverpool move quickly to reach Rodrygo agreement after ending Alexander Isak interest. Liverpool have quickly turned to Rodrygo after ending their interest in Alexander Isak. With Luis Diaz leaving for Bayern Munich in a deal worth around £65 million, the Premier League champions were expected to reinvest the funds in the Newcastle striker. The Reds have spent heavily already this summer, snapping up Florian Wirtz in a British record deal worth up to £116 million, while Jeremy Frimpong and Milos Kerkez arrived from Bayer Leverkusen and Bournemouth, respectively, for a combined £75 million, and one £110 million bid for Isak later, which was immediately rejected by Newcastle, and the Reds are said to have admitted defeat in what they view as a futile chase for his signature. The nature of Newcastle's rejection, the club are said to want £150 million, has led them to abandon their attempts to sign the player, and now Rodrygo is reportedly in their sights. ESPN Brazil report that Liverpool have already made contact with Rodrygo's agents ahead of a first formal bid. Journalist Ciro Lopez claims that Rodrygo has agreed personal terms with the Reds, writing, Liverpool have spoken to the entourage of Rodrygo, and the Real Madrid forward has approved an informal offer of personal terms. Alexander Isak. Striker returns to Newcastle as Liverpool prepare to insist with second bid. Alexander Isak has landed back in Newcastle as the uncertain situation surrounding his future reaches crunch time. The Swede had flown to Spain to train by himself at former club Real Sociedad's facility, while his current teammates were on pre-season tour in Asia. The striker had ruled himself out of the tour citing a thigh injury, although speculation continued to rumble on about whether he would remain on Tyneside beyond the summer transfer deadline. Isak is of particular interest to Liverpool, who on Friday lodged a bid worth £110 million plus add-ons, which was rejected by Newcastle. The Magpies are reportedly after a fee in the region of £150 million if they are to sell their talisman, and Eddie Howe's side have already made moves in an attempt to sign a replacement, as they submitted an offer to RB Leipzig for Benjamin Sesko on Saturday. Isak wants to make the switch to Anfield, and will now have an opportunity for face-to-face talks after it was revealed that he had jetted back into Newcastle following his Spanish escapade. Fabrizio Romano reported on Saturday that, despite contrary reports, Liverpool were considering a second bid and were prepared to insist for the striker. Sky Sports report that Isak had touched down at Newcastle Airport on Saturday afternoon, and he is due in for training alongside his colleagues on Monday when they return from Asia. Liverpool lineup move for Real Madrid world beater, as Alexander Isak Plan B report. Liverpool are poised to move for Real Madrid forward Rodrygo this summer if they fail to sign Alexander Isak, though they haven't given up on the Newcastle striker. The Reds saw a £110 million bid rejected for Isak earlier this week, and it remains to be seen whether they will return with another offer, as the player remains very keen on a move to Anfield. Journalist Ben Jacobs claimed on Friday, August 1st, that Liverpool have no plans to submit a second offer for Isak unless something changes, like Newcastle dropping their £150 million demands. Another journalist, Pete O'Rourke, reports that Liverpool plan to sign Madrid ace Rodrygo should they miss out on the Magpies' 25-year-old talisman. Rodrygo, 24, who can play as a centre-forward or winger, has notched an impressive 68 goals and 51 assists in 270 appearances so far for Los Blancos. Rodrygo has been heavily linked with moves to the Premier League in recent months, and O'Rourke states that he remains on Liverpool's radar, though luring him from Madrid won't be straightforward and still hinges on the Isak situation. The only way they could get Rodrygo is if they don't land Isak, then maybe they will step up their interest in the Brazilian, O'Rourke told Football Insider. Rodrygo's position at Madrid has been the subject of speculation all summer. He barely played at the Club World Cup, which has heightened the speculation. Xabi Alonso still is counting on Rodrygo, and he's a part of his plans. As it stands, Liverpool have put a deal for Rodrygo on the back burner, as they're putting all of their efforts into signing Isak. If they were to get Isak, it would end their interest in Rodrygo. So as we stand right now, I expect Rodrygo to remain at Real Madrid. But he is a world beater and Liverpool will go for him if they can't get Isak. Liverpool still have hope of Alexander Isak deal, despite the claims from Jacobs that Liverpool don't currently intend to bid again for Isak. It's clear that he remains Arne Slot's top target. Fabrizio Romano, for example, has reported that if Newcastle line up a replacement for Isak, like Benjamin Sesko, Liverpool may well bid again. Team Talk transfer correspondent Fraser Fletcher has consistently reported that Liverpool would be willing to go as high as £150 million for the Swedish international. However, a bid of that size could depend on player sales, with the Reds willing to part ways with Harvey Elliott, Federico Chiesa and Darwin Núñez to fund a second offer. Rodrygo certainly has admirers at Anfield though, so a move could materialize if Liverpool do fail to sign Isak this summer. The Reds may face competition, however, with Tottenham also heavily linked with the Madrid star. Thanks for watching. Like and comment and subscribe.